situation a couple of days ago that went down with people claiming that Marina Marbury and DiJonai Carrington was making fun of Caitlin Clark getting poked in the eye.
What happens when a player's body language completely contradicts their words? That's exactly what we're seeing with DiJonai Carrington right now. New footage has basketball fans outraged after a body language expert revealed the truth behind that incident with Caitlin Clark.
I immediately remembered there was a body language expert that talked about this whole scenario that played out. Now, this guy's a professional, and we finna dive into it all because there has been, a small group of people claiming that DiJonai Carrington didn't poke Caitlin in the eye on purpose.
Is it possible to accidentally hit someone in the face, watch them fall to the ground in pain, and then claim you had no idea it happened? We're about to break down the exact moment Carrington's story falls apart. From the calculated finger curl to that telling smirk that's now going viral. The evidence is piling up, and it's not looking good for Carrington.
Look at this. This was the foul, the poke in the eye from DiJonai Carrington to Caitlin Clark that was making the rounds on X, and we're gonna see not only the poke itself, but also the interview to DiJonai to see her words, to see what she is really feeling about this.
Have you ever seen someone claim something was an accident when the footage tells a completely different story? That's exactly what's happening with DiJonai Carrington right now. Let's break down what actually happened on that play. The moment Carrington's hand made contact with Caitlin Clark's eye.
In this case, let's start with the poke, which if we see it frame by frame, you see that in all cases, DiJonai misses the ball. You see that she misses the ball, and there's her hand in the air. And once she has realized she has missed the ball, something not that strange happened.
What makes this so suspicious is that the ball was already out of Clark's hands when Carrington's fingers curled into that claw-like position. Most casual viewers might have missed it during real-time play, but the body language expert who analyzed this footage frame by frame spotted something crucial. Carrington's hand didn't just accidentally follow through after a block attempt. It actually changed position after the ball had already left Clark's hands.
Point in particular, she changes the shape of her hand, or the position of her fingers, from just having the hand open, to block the ball, to this shape. Okay, your fingers together, like the beak of a bird, straight, and it goes down straight into Caitlin's eye.
This wasn't your typical basketball play where someone's hand naturally continues its motion. The expert's analysis shows how Carrington's hand movement completely shifted direction at the critical moment. Look closely at the footage and you'll see her fingers curl inward and then make a deliberate downward stroke motion directly toward Clark's face. That's not how defenders typically react when trying to block a shot.
Well, with those acrylic nails was really dangerous. And you can see, by the way, that DiJonai was looking in her direction, something that she's going to deny. I did not know I hit her.
The timing here is everything. The expert highlighted that Carrington's fingers specifically changed their position after the ball was gone, not during the actual shot attempt. If she was genuinely trying to make a play on the ball, why would her hand suddenly form this claw shape when there was nothing left to block? It defies basketball logic.
And she says, but you can see for yourself that I say that it's not that strange. Because, okay, you have your hand open to block the ball, but in a split second, the ball has already gone past.
Why put your fingers in this shape? The expert specifically questioned. There's absolutely no basketball-related reason for Carrington's fingers to be positioned like that at that moment. Everything about her hand motion contradicts what a natural defensive movement would look like. When players are legitimately going for blocks, their hands remain open and extended, not curled into a claw shape, making a downward strike.
And then she turns her hand into, I want to make sure that you see it. And even in the quality of the video, you can see that you can clearly see the acrylic nails all together. And she goes with her hand directly to her face.
The frame-by-frame analysis completely dismantles the accidental contact narrative. The ball was already gone from Clark's hands. Carrington's fingers deliberately curled inward, and she made a distinct downward strike motion directly at Clark's face. The expert emphasized this key point. If Carrington was truly attempting to block the shot, her fingers would never have formed that specific shape when the ball was already out of play.
It's like she could claim that she was going to block the ball, but then why would you get all your fingers in this position and poke downwards right to her face? Something that doesn't make sense.
What makes this evidence so damning is the deliberate nature of the movement. The expert noted that Carrington's hand position changed after the ball was already gone, indicating a conscious action rather than an accidental follow-through. This wasn't a basketball move. It was something entirely different.
Now, something I didn't realize till I rewatched this video was that the ball was gone out of Caitlin Clark's hand already. And so for her trying to say she's trying to deflect, the ball gone. The ball's clearly gone out of her hand. Come on, man. Come on, dog. Let's be for real here, people.
The deliberate hand movement was just the beginning of this story, but Carrington's own face might be the most damning evidence of all. In that post-game interview, right when the reporter mentioned swatted at Caitlin, something happened to Carrington's expression that even she couldn't control. That tiny facial movement, what experts call a micro-expression, might be the smoking gun that reveals her true intentions.
To hit her in the eye.
And notice that when she hears the words, when you swatted at Caitlin, she is pretty much neutral, has a neutral face, I could say that she has a resting face. She doesn't really have an expression until she hears the words, when you swatted at Caitlin.
When initially asked about the incident, Carrington maintained a neutral expression. Nothing surprising there. But watch what happens next. The moment those words swatted at Caitlin hit her ears, everything changes. The body language expert caught something most viewers probably missed. Carrington suddenly looked away, closed her eyes, and displayed what he specifically described as a face of delight.
Notice that she hasn't registered the word yet, swatted. Okay, she still has a neutral face at that point. But when she registers the words, like, you internalize, you understand, and you know what you're gonna be asked at that moment, this is what happens. Gonna fix it here, mute it for a second, and let's see this frame by frame. Look at her face. What is gonna happen? She's gonna look away or close her eyes and have this face.
Let that sink in for a second. Delight? When being asked about potentially injuring another player, that's about as far from remorse as you can get. This wasn't just a one-off reaction either. The expert noted that throughout the entire interview, every single time the incident was brought up again, Carrington's face would revert to that same expression of delight. It's like she couldn't help herself. Her true feelings kept leaking through her carefully constructed responses.
Okay? It's a face I could say of delight. Why would she make that face? Okay, maybe she realized that she accidentally poked Caitlin's eye, and anybody in their right sense of mind, with common sense, would be embarrassed about it. Okay, it was an accident. It was not my fault, but I am worried about Caitlin and her eye.
What makes this analysis so compelling is the expert's focus on that subtle pull at the left corner of Carrington's mouth. That's not just any facial movement. It's what specialists call a micro-expression, a brief, involuntary facial movement that reveals your genuine emotions. These tiny reactions happen so quickly most people miss them, but they're almost impossible to fake or consciously control. Your face literally betrays what you're really thinking before you can stop it.
But when she hears that mention, okay, you remember that you started on Caitlin, and she does this face, and we know that she wasn't making that face before, because that's why I made sure to show you the neutral expression first, and then she changes and does that face, and then looks back at the reporter with this expression.
Did you catch another strange detail in her response? When directly asked about Clark, Carrington refused to even say her name. Instead, she used the term anybody, as in, I would never try to hurt anybody. The expert pointed out this is classic language distancing, a technique people use when they're trying to minimize their connection to an action. By refusing to say Clark's name, she's psychologically creating separation between herself and what happened.
Precious. But I would like to give her the benefit of the doubt. But first, the movement of the hand doesn't help. The fact that it was a dangerous move, it doesn't help. And the looking away, okay, like trying to hide her face, but then she right now showing it in all its glory, and well, it really doesn't help her case at all.
The contrast between Carrington's words and her facial expressions couldn't be more stark. While verbally expressing what sounds like concern, her face was telling a completely different story, one of what appeared to be satisfaction rather than regret. It's like watching someone say, "I'm so sorry," while secretly smirking.
I was noticing that when she was kind of listening to the rest of the question, she had this look. I noticed how different it is from the look that she had a while ago when she had the neutral expression.
Those smirks were just the warm-up act for what might be the most bizarre defense in sports history. Carrington's impossible explanation completely exposed her true intentions, and it's almost hard to believe she thought anyone would buy it. When confronted about whether she and teammate Marina Mabrey were laughing about the incident later in the game, Carrington delivered a response so contradictory it left even the professional body language expert speechless.
Notice that when she says that why she would intend to hit anybody. She doesn't even mention Caitlyn by her name. Okay, the question is specifically about Caitlyn, and she dodges addressing Caitlyn by her name, not even by the pronoun, hitting her in the face.
I didn't even know I hit her, Carrington claimed with a straight face, insisting she couldn't possibly have laughed about something she wasn't aware of. Think about that for a second. She wants us to believe she made direct contact with Clark's face, watched her collapse to the ground in obvious pain, clutching her eye, and somehow didn't notice?
Like, this is in general. Okay, it would be if you were embarrassed about your, well, in this case, Caitlyn, you might at least mention her by name. That would be basic, very basic politeness, sportsmanship.
The body language expert immediately identified this as a blatant lie, pointing out the obvious. Carrington was directly facing Clark during the entire interaction, made unmistakable physical contact, and then watched as Clark fell to the ground holding her injured eye. How exactly do you miss something like that happening right in front of you?
I didn't know I hit her actually, but we know that she must have seen, because she wasn't right in front of her. How could you not see that you hit her? And you must have felt the hit and how Caitlyn fell to the floor, grabbing her eye. Like that is a blatant lie.
What's particularly revealing is what happened on Carrington's face while making this impossible claim. The expert spotted that same contemptuous half smile appearing on the left side of her face. The side that's much harder for people to control consciously and often betrays our true emotions when we're saying something we know isn't true.
It's a blatant lie. It's like she's trying to make it seem like I really didn't know about this. And I know that many people could get mad at me for saying this, but no, she's lying. She absolutely knows that she hit her.
But wait, it gets even worse. In the very same interview where Carrington claimed she didn't even know she hit Clark, she also stated, "I followed through and I hit her." Did you catch that? Within moments, she directly contradicted her own defense, first claiming complete ignorance about the contact, then admitting she followed through and made contact. Which one is it? You can't simultaneously know and not know you hit someone.
Only thing I notice here it's maybe just a tad of regret. It's just a split second regret, but I don't know if she regrets the hit itself or having to talk about it. That is the thing with body language. You can see a face of regret, but you don't know exactly what is the regret about.
Her attempt to justify the contact by saying she was trying to make a play on the ball falls apart completely when you consider the timing the expert pointed out. Remember, the ball was long gone before those fingers curled into that suspicious claw position, meaning there was no ball to make a play on when the contact occurred.
And does a very, very quick shoulder shrug when she does it at the same time. So she's trying to dismiss the event. Again, it's like if you are finding out that you hit Caitlyn in the eye, you might as well say that she's sorry, it was not intentional. You would have at least another attitude.
The body language expert zeroed in on this critical inconsistency. Carrington straight up admitted to hitting Clark while simultaneously claiming she didn't know she did it. It's like saying, I didn't eat the cookies with crumbs still on your face. The contradiction completely undermines her entire defense and exposes the calculated nature of both the incident and her response to it.
Just maybe let's pretend for a moment that she really didn't notice that she hit Caitlyn. And when she finds out, anybody with just a bit of a sportsmanship would react in a different way. Not this smug way, much less with that delight on her face.
When footage showed Carrington and teammate Marina Mabry laughing after the incident, Carrington doubled down on her implausible story, stating, I can't laugh about something I didn't know happened. The body language expert noted this as yet another sign of her insincerity, adding to the mounting evidence that her actions were far from accidental.
Oh yeah, you absolutely know you hit her, and you see that now. You see that's a very good example how reminiscing about not laughing about the event, you see the same kind of contempt with that half a smile, just the left side of her face. And remember that the left side of her face is much more sincere than the right one. So this was genuine contempt.
So what now? The fan backlash has been intense, with practically everyone online calling out Carrington for what they see as deliberate action against Clark. Most people simply aren't buying her claims of ignorance. How could you not know you hit someone in the face? The body language expert's analysis has only added fuel to the fire, highlighting how she refused to even say Clark's name during interviews, which many find incredibly telling.
Yeah, I can't laugh about it's so inconsistent what she says. I cannot laugh about something I already said I didn't know happened. It's a bit convoluted what she's saying. We know she knew that she hit Caitlyn, and it absolutely looks on purpose. I don't know, so many of you are may complain about what I'm saying, but I'm gonna tell you that's when you see it frame by frame. When you see it frame by frame, there's absolutely no reason why she should be putting her fingers in that shape, and much less doing that downward stroke.
And here's something interesting. There might be more to this story. Some analysts are pointing to a potential history of tension between Carrington and Clark that could explain the incident. Was this just the boiling point of a longer rivalry we haven't been paying attention to? The league hasn't made any official statement yet, but the public wants accountability. What do you think about this whole situation? Is there a deeper rivalry developing against Clark? Drop your thoughts in the comments and hit subscribe for more basketball coverage that gives you the real story behind the headlines.